Hey guys, so today what I'm going to be doing is talking about goal setting for 2024. So how to actually accomplish your goals for your bookkeeping business, even if you don't have any clients yet. So I'm going to actually talk about this from maybe like assuming that you maybe have like zero or one client. You might have multiple clients who are watching this thing. Just kind of take the numbers I'm shooting and I'm kind of presenting and kind of plug in the numbers exactly at. So if you're at like 10 clients already, and I'm gonna like run this thing based on how to get to six figures. If you're already at $5,000 a month, then just kind of run it as if you're at $5,000 a month for your starting point. Okay. So the biggest three things are gonna be marketing, cost, and minimum pricing in order for you to be able to go and reach your goals. Now, the challenge when it comes to starting a business is that most people run their life in 30 to 90 day kind of cycles, meaning that like someone like they'll think about their business for maybe 60 days. So it's like the first 30 days, oh, this is awesome. Next 30 days is gonna be like researching and setting things up. Next 30 days is gonna be about like trying things, but then generally people get discouraged and they like, just stop, right? So they really only put in about 30 days of actual attack, right? But they, get frustrated. And that makes a lot of sense. Like for me, I used to have like a really short time frame. It was like every 14 days, I would kind of feel like if something didn't work or something wasn't kind of moving, I would like have this kind of just like feeling that, oh my gosh, nothing's gonna work. I can't do this thing. Because I had tried a lot of businesses that just didn't work for me in the past. Like I tried like web design, I tried doing social media management. I tried doing e-commerce and like all that stuff really didn't work for me long term. Like it kind of worked, but then it kind of fell apart. So I had this thought that, okay, I was so scared that you know, if I wasn't having signs of success, I would ultimately be failing very, very quickly. So I was kind of nervous. So we're gonna kind of talk about today is like expanding your time horizon. I'm actually gonna draw on my whiteboard as well, kind of a diagram to help you understand like visually what it's supposed to like look and feel like when you're actually, trying to run your business. Let me switch to a different audio or a different visual camera just so like it looks better. Sometimes the fuzziness kind of irritates me. Give me one second. Cool. Okay, so we're back. So number one, okay. The main skills are going to be like really important is allowing your earning potential to grow. Now, there's the big three and a half. Okay, that's pricing, marketing, sales, onboarding. I consider onboarding like the point five because like some people would technically count that as like sales is how you onboard people, right? Because all sales is really just presenting how you're going to help somebody in a customized fashion, and the onboarding is just further like making sure they feel like you're the person that can help them out. So let's talk about marketing first. So 1% rule, okay? 1% of the people that are following you on social media who are qualified business owners should end up working with you as a client. Now, the challenge that most people have is like the faster you go and get more people, the longer it might take in some cases for you to get clients. So it's not like if you go and like find a way to get 1,000 people to accept a friend request today, now you have 1,000 business owners, you're not just gonna have 10 clients tomorrow, right? It might take a little bit of time for you to like get to know them. And that's why like time frames are so important, right? But just assume that 1%. So that means that if you have 100 business owners that are in your following and you have like two or three clients already, that's really good. Whatever you did to go find those 100, you need to do that at least 10 more times. Then you'll be at about 20 to 30 clients, right? But if you're having 100 qualified business owners on your following and they're not working with you, that generally means that either there's like they don't trust you, you're not saying the right things to get them on the phone, or when you're on the phone, you're just not really having, really strong sales skills or really convincing reason for someone to want to work with you, which can cause, you to struggle. So we'll break some of that stuff down. We have a lot of videos on our channel to help you grow as well. Also, if you've been trying to grow your business for any amount of time, but it's just not quite working the way that you hoped or planned, go ahead and click on the link inside the description to book a call with myself to see if I can help inside of our mentorship program. Okay. There's no reason why you should be struggling longer than like what you are. Like, just to be honest with you, like there's no reason, right? If there's like a person that's been where you're trying to go and has helped other people do it, you might as well just associate yourself with that so you can skip the line and skip a lot of those mistakes, right? It's kind of a weird thing in life, right? Because like when I was getting started, I heard a lot of people saying stuff like, I want to kind of go through it the hard way. It's like, well, why? Why would you want to like, get all the battle scars and get your arm cut off along the way, get the arrows in your back? You might as well just take the elevator, take take the elevator and enjoy life as much as you can, right? Because the goal is not necessarily to build a business. The goal is to have a very, very, very good life. That's how I built my business, right? That's why I do the mentorship program because it also adds some really good like lifestyle and just yeah, so everything's good, you know. So yeah, if you want that, go ahead and click the link. So going back into this thing is number one, it's gonna be about marketing, right? So the problem most people have is they might have like 150, 200 people who are following you, especially if you're on social media and like let's say for example, that's your lady, right? You might have a bunch of like random kind of like creeps or random people who are following you. So you might have like 200, 300, 400, even 1,000 plus followers, but they're probably not necessarily people that are going to buy from you, right? So what happens, a lot of people might have like friends and family on their list and they have like 200 people. Like, well, why am I not getting clients? It's like, well, you only have 10 business owners that are actually like potential targets. And, for most people, it's very hard for most people to convert 100% of the people that are following them. Like, this is just not realistic, right? So you have to grow that list first. Next thing is going to be about like really becoming a leader. I'm actually going to move this down to pricing. So the reason why it's important to really get good at marketing is because you don't need to really do that much if you understand that it's all about the amount of relationships and people that you generally have to like go and meet and go and like get in contact with. Because then all this is just a matter of multiplication. All businesses is like really understanding mathematics and statistics and then being able to run those patterns long enough for you to reach your financial goal. So if your goal is, 100,000, let's say that all you need to do is just go and get like your minimum price is $500 per month. Not if we're not counting any cleanups, that means all you need is about 20 clients and you'll be at 10K per month. Okay. Now for our students, of course, we do get like larger clients, like $500 is our minimum, right? So it won't take you 20 clients if you're working with us. But let's just say worst case scenario, you need to get 20 clients. You can do that in the span of a year. That's only, what is that about like two per month, one and a half, two per month, right? So it definitely works, but you have to have a long enough time horizon. Now, one thing that's also going to help you is if you get really good at sales. Now, the reason why sales is important is because it will dictate how much can you charge, when do you get paid, how many discussions do you have to have with a person, and it will also determine the amount of consultation calls you need to take, right? Remember, we talked about marketing, right? We talked about the 1% rule, but there's also the fact where you might have like 2% or 3% or 4% of people who are following you end up working with you. That's going to be determined by your sales skills, right? Because it's like everyone who gets on a consultation call with you, but unless they're like financially unqualified, like potentially they could work with you. 80% of the people, actually 80 to about 90% of the people are closable. It's just a matter of do they trust you? Do they like you? Do they value your service? Do they have the cash flow? Do they have a partner that's not on the phone? And like there's like about seven different objections they can give you, right? If you master how to really understand these seven objections before they are posed to you as objections, it makes it a lot easier for you to close a higher percentage of these people. But 90% of the people that get on the phone with you, if you understand how to do the game correctly, and if you say the right things and understand how to like really relate to the person, they should work with you. So in order to get 20 clients like max, like you don't need 100 consultation calls, right? You might only need like one every other week. Just find one business owner every other week. What is that? 52 weeks in a year divided by two. That's 26. Okay, so that's 26 consultation calls, right? Our students in our programs close anywhere between 50 to 75% of like the consultation calls they take, right? So it's just like you don't need that many. And 26 consultation calls, that would probably be anywhere between, let's do 26 times 0.75, right? It's about 19 clients right there. So it means just like one consultation call every other week and you're at your goal, right? And that's worst case scenario. That's not counting if you get like a $3,000 per month like client. So let me do this. This is kind of unique. I usually don't use a whiteboard for these kind of videos, but I was really inspired to do so. Another thing that most people kind of don't understand when it comes to building a business, as we kind of talked about, is those time frames. Oops. I'm obviously out of practice with my whiteboard. So you have to assume two things. You have to assume number one, it's very Let me slow down real quick. Just need an eraser. It's very unlikely that the majority of the people that you speak with, if you're not good at sales, are going to sign up on the first call, right? So you need to assume two calls to close. Like you just gotta assume that, right? That means it's gonna be one call where it's going to be like, hey, this is kind of what we're looking for. Go in between now and do some homework, give me access to your books. Second call is when you're gonna basically be talking about like, what are you actually going to do together and walking them through a plan and then giving them a price of, what it's going to be. Now, if you're good at closing, generally by the second call, you should be able to go and get someone to fill out an invoice within about 3 to 7 days after the call. Some people will get it faster, some people get it on the call. Our students, like about 50% of our students will close and actually get paid on the call. 50% prefer to like send invoices, so I give you the option to do both. But you have to assume that, right? So now on call number three, this is really about like clarifying questions. So sometimes like they might ask you like questions like, well, if I'm doing working with you, like what happens if this happens? Or let me stop sharing. Or what happens if, this happens? And like there's just a million different scenarios they could give you. So all you're doing is just answering answer questions. Okay. But out of this call number three, 50% of the people will buy. Okay. So that means that out of this whole entire process, you already have 50% of people that have bought in less than 1 week. So this is less than 8 days. Okay. Now keep in mind though, what did we say earlier? We said 80% of people are closable, right? We've only gotten 50% of people to work with us within the first 8 days, right? So that means like maybe you met someone at a networking event, you did a 15-minute call, you did a sales call, then you did a qualifying or answering questions type of call, right? And then 50% of those people will have purchased from you, right? So worst case scenario, you're sitting at about 50% close rate. Best case, you're sitting maybe at like 80% close rate, and that's under 8 days, right? But what happens to all the people that said no, or maybe who didn't show up, or maybe who did not work with you, right? This is where this is where your long-term money is going to be made. Okay. This is why I always say like business gets easier over time because time is actually the thing that's going to close more deals than what your sales skills will ever do, right? So 50% of people say no, but still have a problem, right? So what you do is every 1 5 days, you check in. Right? The reason why it's important that you check in is because they still have a problem. It's just maybe they're procrastinating, maybe they had some fear they had to get over, maybe it was a cash flow problem, maybe they had to go talk to their partner, or maybe they talk to the board of directors, but the board of directors only meets like once a month, right? So it's just like there's a million different reasons why someone could have not signed up with you. But from that, there's still about 20% that it's going to sign up. 20% will sign up. Um, 3 months to 2 years later. Now, Bryce, I got to make money today. Why would I want someone who buys me 2 years later? It's because no matter what happens, whether there's like a supernatural event that kind of happens that takes out half the businesses in America, whether it's maybe you take a whole year off of marketing, you have this future money that's kind of being built up. Part of what you need to do in order to have like a really just like successful business that's going to last and stand the test of time is that you need to be creating future revenue, right? So remember, 50% are going to sign up within the first like 8 days, so your revenue will be covered. But the thing that's going to take you to six figures is going to be this like kind of cycle of when people come back, right? They come back, they come back, and then they come back, right? And you're just building up this reservoir, right? Because what's going to happen is as you maybe get to about like 5, 6, 7 grand per month, if you're doing all the work yourself, right, then you're not going to have as much time to do the marketing, right? So that's why most people they end up like getting stuck at like $3,000 to $5,000 per month because they did marketing when they had time, but as soon as they don't have time, since they're doing marketing that tends to be like very manual. So they have to go to networking events or they have to like cold call or they have to like put out proposals on Upwork or they like do stuff on Craigslist, right? As soon as they stop working, the leads stop coming. So one way you can combat this is by learning how to get good at sales and really understanding this 15-day cycle, right? Where you're building a relationship with the people that said no. Because now, even when you're busy, everyone has time to say, hey, how's life going? Everyone has time to like send a helpful article. And we have other videos about like what to send when you're following up every 15 days. And we also give you exactly what to say inside of our program, so you don't have to like guesstimate or create it from scratch, right? But now when you're busy working, you just get a text message saying, hey, I finally have everything ready. I'm ready to get started. Hey, I went with someone else, but they messed up my books. I'm ready to get started with you. Hey, remember we talked a couple of months ago? I wasn't quite ready then, but I am now. And then you just get checks coming in, right? And it's like you pass through making income at this point. So it's almost like you have to kickstart certain things, almost like pushing a boulder up a mountain, right? But then there's a train at the top. So okay. This is why business is hard, right? Because most people they just can't like be in the game long enough. Like that's the only reason why I make as much money as what I do. It's not because well, it is because I have better skills than you. Like I'm not gonna say that, but it's not just because I have better skills. It's because I have so many people that I'm building relationships with and I'm following up with that over time it's just like it's statistically improbable that if you have 3,000, 5,000 people who you're building relationships with over the course of like 2, 3 years, that you're not going to be at six figures. Like it literally does not make sense that you wouldn't hit your goal. The only reason why it wouldn't is if you just got 5,000 people that aren't really qualified business owners, right? Like if you just got a bunch of people, like maybe they're making like 10 grand a year and they're like startups, like, yeah, you're not going to make that much money. But if you have relationships with even if 5,000 is a lot, okay? I use the large numbers because I think in terms of large numbers. Let's just say you just had 1,000. All you got to do is just keep talking to the same 1,000 people over and over and over again until a good like 1% of them signs up with you. Like it's not like it's that hard, right? So let's just say 1% of 1,000. What is that? 10? 10.01. Yes, 10 people, right? Let's assume that they pay you $1,000 a month each. That's already $100,000. Like it's so the real key becomes how do you really spot who are the right people? And then once you spot the right people, what do you need to say in order to keep them engaged as long as possible, right? So that's when it comes to sales. The next thing is going to be pricing. So if you notice, right, what I keep saying between 500 to $5,000 per month. Why am I choosing that range? It's just because number one, it's an easy range where if you multiply out $500 per month over the span of 12 months, that's $6,000, right? You only need, what is that? A few of these kind of clients, and you're going to be able to reach your goal. Plus, if you get a client for 3,000, 4,000, or 5,000 per month, not only is it a really significant amount of money, but it's still at the size to where like the company's not going to want you to be on like full time, right? When you start getting clients with like 10,000, 12, $15,000 a month, that turns more into like a full-time job. But when you're right at that 3, 4, $5,000 per month mark, it's generally I found has been like a really good zone. And that's assuming that you're not undercharging, right? Because you could charge $5,000, but if you're charging $10 an hour, it's going to take, that is a full-time job. But the way we kind of charge is a little bit different, right? Because we're giving flat price. They're not based on how many hours we work. We'll talk about pricing in a second, right? So it's all about charging the right pricing. Now, pricing is actually going to gatekeep your sanity. When I say that, the amount of money you charge someone significantly changes the perception the person has of you and the respect level they give to you. Now, I'm not saying respect like they're going to cuss you out or they're going to say something crazy, but I'm just saying like there's a certain reverence that you get when you charge the right amount of money. So, for example, I when I was first getting started with my mentorship program, I charged this one person $97, right? I was charging like $97 a month. I don't charge that now. That's those days are long gone, right? But the person after 15 days was upset with me because they weren't making $10,000 a month. They would text me, they would call me, why is this not working? I don't understand what's going on. It's like it's been 15 days. Okay, well, I would have thought you would have been like calling me up and different things like that. It's like you paid me $97 for like, a couple of meetings. What are you talking about? And they kind of like expect the world. And it's logical, right? Because if a person doesn't have a lot of money, not, X amount of dollars is like 10, 20, 30% of their yearly budget, right? So of course me calling you, they'll be looking over your shoulder, they'll be asking you a bunch of questions and stuff, because the money is more significant to them. Versus when you're charging a higher amount of money, the person generally can afford to pay you a higher amount of money. That means they have a lot of different things that are pulling their attention. They might have a lot of employees, a lot of contractors. Maybe they're doing the sales themselves or managing a sales team. They don't quite have as much time to be like looking over your shoulder. And the work that you do helps them out tremendously more, right? For them to be able to like look at the right amount of data to know like, okay, how many new contracts can we bring? Which contractors should we fire? Which employees should we like fire? Like, are these people actually being productive? Am I using my cash correctly? What's my inventory turn? Like, there's a million different reasons, but it's like the bigger the company and the more they can pay you, the more value you naturally have and the more respect because they're not trying to look over your shoulder. They just say, okay, I paid this person this much money. They're here to do a job. I'm going to trust them and empower them to do that job, right? Versus the smaller size of the scale is like, hey, this is my business partner. I need you. I need you. They start asking a million questions aren't even related to accounting. It's just like it's just too close, right? So it gatekeeps your sanity because the higher price point are better quality client in a lot of cases, and it's not as like forward facing. Now, this is not every case. Like you might run into someone that's paying a small amount of money and just like, doesn't really have any questions. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying on average, you know, next thing, when it comes to pricing, we're always trying to get paid sooner, not later. Okay. So this is kind of like a mixture of sales and pricing, but let's say it's a cleanup, right? I'm trying to get 100% of the cleanup on day zero. Before we even started the cleanup, I'm trying to get 100%, right? I don't want to leave anything to chance, right? And it's not that like you don't get your money if you like do like a plan or if you do like a deposit up front. It's just there's there's a lot of variables in life and in business if you can eliminate as many of them as possible, that just makes things easier, right? So if I can't get 100, I'm looking for 80. If I can't get 80, I'm trying to get 75, right? Probably the lowest that we go nowadays is about 50%, at least up front, right? Because again, like you want money in your bank account because when you're first starting out, like a business is all about getting sales and getting cash so that you can validate your business and validate that you have the minimum viable skills to make this, long-term work for you, right? So it's all about cash inside the bank. You can also make better quality decisions when you have more cash because you're not feeling as desperate or you're not feeling like you're under this gun, right? Under this gun to like make money. Even if you have a full-time job, it's kind of like a frustration gun where it's like, oh my gosh, when is this going to start working? I need to make more money. I need to go, right? You won't have that if you start getting paid faster, if you start getting paid sooner. And it's also going to make sure that, again, your business is more safe and your business is more secure. If you notice on this conversation, I keep saying the word like safety and security, right? Now, a lot of people want freedom. In order for you to have freedom in your personal life, you need to have a lot of safety and security inside of your business because it's about certainty. Okay? You need to have certainty. The more certainty you have in your business, the longer you can run a business for, and the less you stress out inside of the business. So I can go and have fun. I can go, I'm taking a trip to potentially Baltimore next week or the week after that there was kind of a scheduling mishap, and there might be a couple conferences. I might go to Miami, not Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a couple weeks as well. Probably Fort Lauderdale, slide down to Miami Beach, whatever, we'll see, right? But I don't have to like worry about like not making money in my business. I don't have to worry about these different things because I have a lot of safety and a lot of security inside of my business. If I was to turn off all my advertisements in my business, across both businesses, like I'd still be well into like probably mid six figures. And the reason why is because I have like this pipeline of people who are like, oh, they've been thinking about it, maybe they've been getting ready to save some money, or if the business just didn't have the cash flow right, then I had them. I basically for my accounting firm, if someone doesn't have the cash flow to pay me, I show them how to actually go and like partner with like what a credit repair person, right? What a credit repair person in my local area, and helps them build their credit so they can go take out like more funding and then be able to like pay for like cleanups and different things like that. From a mentorship program, like we have a lot of different things like that as well. If someone's like tight on cash, it just kind of depends. But it allows us to be able to relax in business and have that true freedom that a lot of people are craving. Next thing, when you're talking about pricing, you need to be a leader. Don't follow the crowd. Okay. You want to base your price based on like the work, the amount of transactions, level of complexity, as well as a discretionary amount of swagger fees. Now, a swagger fee is basically just a discretionary amount of money that experience tells you you can charge on top of your pricing structure based on your experience and how you're feeling inside the consultation call based on the likelihood that someone is willing to actually work with you. Like there's sometimes where it's like this person, no matter what amount of money within reason you say they're going to work with, you can of course boost it up just a little bit, right? Because then you can put more focus on them because you don't need as many auxiliary clients and you can still do an even better job, right? So it's not just price gouging them. Like I know some people are like, well, I want to charge a reasonable amount of money. Well, what's reasonable? Reasonable is like on a scale. It's a gray word. Like a lot of people like they build their life around gray words as absolutes. Like someone asked, like, how extensive is your knowledge of QuickBooks? And then one of my students is like, oh my gosh, I don't have extensive knowledge. Like, well, what's extensive knowledge? Is it compared to like, so if someone has zero knowledge, 1 unit of energy is a lot more, right? 10 units of energy is a lot more, right? So what does extensive mean? That's like a gray, right? She's like, well, I couldn't say that I had extensive knowledge because that would be dishonest. It's like, well, it's not a question that's a true or false question, right? It's how much. So you need to explain what how much is, so now they have more context to compare it to, right? But a lot of people kind of like are living their lives like that, and that makes business very hard because business is a lot of gray. It's not black or white by any means. You'll have someone where like you get on a consultation call, the person's like, I need help, I need help, I need help. The last 5 minutes, oh, well, I have to go talk to my board of directors because I don't know if we have enough budget to go and do this. Well, you just said you had budget 10 minutes ago. But you said that, well, yeah, but I can't make any decisions without their approval. Okay, bro. And they come back, and it's like, well, the board of directors said yes, but I'm kind of fearful about this thing, this thing. What if you guys mess up my books? It's like, what? So it's like just a bunch of random things. It's not all logical or linear, right? And that's why, like, having when I drew those circles about people that say no and then come back, like, that's what business is. Now, it can, if it might be overwhelming if your watch is like you just want a simple way to just go make money, which it is simple over time. It all averages out, and you like forget about all like the stupid stuff that happens throughout the year. And then you look at your P&L and you look at your savings account, you add an extra 50 to $100,000 a year in extra savings on top of your bills. And yeah, it's great. Next thing is overhead costs. Okay. So you need to have it's generally going to cost about $300 per month in the beginning. This should be your cost structure until you're at least about $5,000 per month. Okay. So what does that include? That includes about a LinkedIn, what is that called? Sales Navigator. That basically allows you to like LinkedIn like a directory rather than just a social media platform. It costs about between 79 to about $100 per month. You can lower that expense by just using automation tools that again are a lot cheaper, but lets you use LinkedIn more freely. Next thing is you should have thank you letters every single time a referral partner refers someone to you. Like send out a letter saying, thank you. I appreciate you sending me a referral. Another one could be, paper flyers, different things like that. So like about $300 per month in terms of like max marketing spend. You can go like even lower, just kind of depending. I'm also assuming that you have a laptop or a computer. If you don't have one of those, like you can definitely go to like maybe like Best Buy and like you can go and get one. If you get a Best Buy credit card that lets you split up over 18 months with 0% APR, you could, and I mean, until you start getting clients, you could go to like a local community college and use their computer for like the marketing stuff. Once you get a client, like I'd recommend using some of the money from that client to get your own laptop, just because of like encryption and different things like that. You don't know kind of what the encryption levels like at some of the community colleges and those computers. So, just to protect the data, you probably want to have your own computer. But yeah, or rent to family members. I don't know. Whatever you got to do, get a computer. The next thing, why can't I just grow indefinitely? So Bryce, this sounds very easy. Why can't I just go like get to $1 million? Number one is capacity. Okay, how many consultation calls can you take? Next is how much work you have to do by yourself, right? So you can't just do 1 million hours of work. Like some people can, right? Power to I had a student in my program. He was obsessed. Like he was obsessed and he had ADHD, so he had like so much energy and so much focus. Like, and he had insomnia too. He had ADHD, obsession, and he had insomnia. So he couldn't sleep very well. He was always obsessed and he had unlimited energy. It's like I'm not person, I'm not like that. I wish I was to a certain degree. I could probably build build a lot of stuff, but for people who are like me, had a capacity, right? So one thing you can do is like subcontract. So let's say you got too much work and you're just like, okay, I need to be able to breathe. Okay, first things first, we do subcontractors, right? So that'll help you go and like be able to expand your capacity. And you don't need to keep them on forever, but just like get you out of a jam. Next thing are automations. So, like using stuff like workflows as well as book review inside of QuickBooks to be able to go and like have a lot of the work be automated and just like have rules in place. Next thing is once you are ready to like have more people on like staff, right? You can have staff accountants as contractors and be able to just have them come and do things more consistently. And you start building an understanding with these contractors and these accountants to be able to do some work for you for a long period of time. So you have more consistency inside the business, right? And like bring on a subcontractor for a project and another subcontractor for another project. You have a team that starts being with you consistently. Next thing is going to be like the scalability in your current marketing. The way I teach you is very good for getting you to six figures. So like in our program, like whenever you watch our testimonials, it's generally like a very consistent set of results, right? So I'm not necessarily the person that's trying to get you to $1 million per year. I'm trying to get you to the six figure zone, right? So that means that there does come a shift that if you're going to be wanting to grow, you have to add in some scalability to your marketing and slash, or you can add in scalability to your pricing by working with even larger size companies, right? And we can talk about that in different videos, but just kind of keep it simple. These are the reasons why you can't just grow like forever and ever. Next thing, costs do go up, right? If you're going to try and like scale your marketing and you scale it through advertisements, well, now you have advertising costs, right? You might have even like more staff account costs. You might have a manager depending how large you grow, right? So it's like the profit margin will go down as you try to scale. So by doing it slow and steady, you look back over 4 years and now you're sitting at like, 300, $400,000 per year. And it's very, very simple to kind of run still a pretty low, pretty high profit margin, low overhead kind of business. Okay. So hopefully this kind of gave you an understanding of like different goals for your business, how to really like set proper expectations for your business so that you're not, disappointed when after 30 to 90 days you don't have a six-figure business. Okay. So also if you want to help growing your business, like maybe been trying, maybe you just don't really know what you don't know and you want to be able to go and like move faster, reach your goal with more certainty, I invite you to go ahead and click the link inside the description, book a call with myself or a member of my team to see if we can help you inside of our training program. Um, we do have a very kind of rigorous selection process. The reason why is because I don't just want to take on a lot of like people who are maybe not ready to start a business. When I say not ready, it's not like, like everything is about timing in life, right? Now, I'm not talking about like if you're scared, it's like, well, I don't know if I'm ready, I don't know if I'm emotionally ready. I'm talking about you have to have skill set, you have to have determination, you have to have goals, you have to be ready to really put in the work to be able to go do this. Because it's not like you're getting rich quick. It's more about like building wealth for the long term for your family and for your future, right? So if that's you, it's really about like the mindset of where the person's at. Like I'm looking for a particular personality, I'm looking for a particular like outlook on life, so I can plug you into our systems, make sure the mindset holds up while we're going to that, 10, 12, 15K per month. And then it's just really easy for us on the inside. So if you want to see if you qualify and if you're a good fit for our program, go ahead and click on the link inside the description, book a call with a member of my team or myself, and we'll see you on the call. We'll walk you through our process. We'll see if it's a good fit. Okay. Talk to you soon. If you're not quite ready for a call, that's okay too. We have a lot of videos. We'll see you in the future when you're ready. Okay. Take it easy. Talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day.